Okay, so the first card is the Six of Cups in the reverse position. So at the heart of the reading, this is once again like a blast from the past, okay? This is distant memories that you are not very fond of, and it's troublesome because I do feel that you are affected greatly by it. And I would say, in general, it's unpleasant memories, unpleasant history that you have with somebody that is coming back up for you to revisit, okay? You're revisiting the situation, not the other person per se. So be very careful that you are realistic at least. I do feel that with the Four of Wands crossing you, this is a situation that you're dealing with, first of all, in the family, or it's a marriage, possibly like an ex-marriage partner or somebody that you're romantically linked with in a very, very stable marriage type of relationship, okay? This is what's crossing you here. It could also be a situation that indicates sharing the home, probably problems you might have with roommates, with people you share your living space with, okay? So I do feel there is some discrepancy here in the past position, in the recent past. I do feel with the death card in the reverse position, this situation itself has never been properly addressed. And because of it, you are kind of like dealing with the process of like what has happened, how did things transpire, and you're kind of still in the dark about this situation. But I would say that with the Four of Wands, it indicates a happy home, but at the same time it's a union between two people. So I guess in this context, learning to give and take is going to be greatly required of you. And I feel more than anything, you are either thinking about how much you have given in that relationship or how much the other person has given to you. And at the time, you either didn't appreciate their efforts or they didn't appreciate how much you were putting in, okay? So imbalance in a partnership is greatly indicated as well. And what's coming in here is the Three of Coins in the reverse position. So this is a situation that could have created like a falling out between people because there is an external part, an external energy, an external person involved in this situation that should have been only between two people, okay? So for example, it could play out in that, your roommate, they're always very loud or they bring guests over all the time. So that's one mundane way in which it could play out. Or you are living with people who eat all your food and who doesn't reciprocate, okay? So either way, what's crowning you here is the living situation itself is very stable. So I do feel this is a minor squabble. This is a minor setback in the course of this relationship because ultimately there's still a great deal of love and a great deal of fondness, forgiveness, and emotional rapport in this situation. And I do sense that it's heading off track right now. So try to fix this as soon as you can. Try to have an open discussion, communication with this person that you're dealing with, just so that you can prevent it from descending into chaos. Because I do feel very soon an external energy is going to be involved in this situation, which makes it difficult for you to address the other person in a comfortable and open way, okay? At the same time, what you're not aware of is the Seven of Cups in the reverse position. So this indicates to me that a lot of clarity is coming into the picture. So it's the dissolution, or rather the dissipation of the fog. Okay, so the fog is being lifted. You're actually getting a lot more clarity in this situation. You're starting to realize, like I mentioned earlier, there might have been like imbalances. The other person might have like given you a lot of things. The other person might have done a lot for you, but in the midst of it or in the past, you were only focused on what you were giving the other party. And it could play in the opposite way, in which the other party was always complaining. However, this card indicates to me that illusions are coming into clear focus. So I do feel, unfortunately, that you're re-examining this situation and you're basically getting the other side of the story, and it's starting to make sense to you that this person that you had like a bad history with was actually trying his or her best to make you happy, but they do it in a way that's not the same as what you would normally do. However, there's a period here of possibly coming to terms with this so that you can fix this issue, okay? So let's pull the rest of the cards and see what's in store for you. Whoa, okay. So this one came out first. So we have the Judgment as the advice here. The Judgment indicates a new beginning. In this context, what is speaking out to me the most is this heart here. So this is basically letting bygones be bygones, learning to forgive. You don't have to forget completely, but I do feel that it is approaching people on a more human level. And what I mean by that is everyone's got flaws, okay? It's just the fact of life. We all communicate in different ways, but at the heart of it, if someone has good intentions, if someone is like trying their best to do the right thing, or they're just trying the best the only way they know how, even if it doesn't make sense to you, it is really important to just forgive and move forward in a better light. So this is going to be required of you for this week. And I do sense that new beginnings are happening in terms of love, in terms of romance as well. Okay, so for those of you who are, have been going through a dry spell and not really dating, I would say this signifies to me a new lease on love. And especially for those in existing situations in which there was like jealousy, in which there were problems caused by external actors, this situation is going to clear up. You're going to quickly realize that your partner, whoever you're dealing with, really cares about you, and they care about you um, in a very like profoundly deep and human level. Okay, this is like wanting the best for somebody, despite all the arguments, despite all the troubles, getting this relationship off the ground. Okay, so there is a new lease on love at this point. And in terms of your external environment, we have the card of conflict in the reverse position. So there is a mutual understanding. There's a truce that is being reached here. And for your hopes and fears, we have the Ten of Cups in the Ten of Wands. This is the card of, taking the burden of the world on your shoulders. In your hopes and fears position, though, I do feel that there is one major task which is making you a little bit uncomfortable, but it's going to move this situation along. And what it is I know Geminis, well, for a lot of signs in general, but I do feel for Geminis, when you encounter a situation in which you admit that you were wrong, it's really difficult for you to make that apology. Okay, you feel it and you feel like, okay, I would rather buy them like a cupcake and write down, I'm sorry in it, rather than to like verbally say it. I do feel that's a good way to approach it if you are feeling hesitant about approaching the other party and apologizing to them for, past indiscretion or past behaviors. However, the easiest part to do this would be, just outright verbally saying it, okay, with the Ace of Swords. This is the card of the truth coming to light. This is the card of like, I guess, respecting the other party in a way that innately, you're a sword energy. You're the truth seeker. So it would go a lot further if you just outright suck it up and just say, I'm sorry for the way I behaved in the past because I wasn't seeing the whole picture. Okay, I wasn't seeing the bigger picture here. So because in the process of verbally saying it to another party, it means a lot more to them. It feels like you're not trying to buy their affection with, material things, okay? So that's the best way I can do it. I know it's going to make you feel a little bit uncomfortable, and but this is something that you really should do for the other party. And it's also something that would actually be very good for you, mainly because in the process of like verbalizing your thoughts, you're not going to make the same mistake twice. Okay, so it's going to leave a lasting imprint on you, and it's also the process of like achieving humility. Okay, so it's going to feel like an insurmountable task, okay? You feel very burdened and you feel like slightly embarrassed. There's nothing wrong with that. We all have to learn this lesson, and the apology, the verbal, process of accepting responsibility for our actions, that's going to be appreciated by the other party, okay? So in general, I do sense that a lot of you, I'm going to pull out two more cards. A lot of you might be dealing with family members, might have been dealing with people you live with. So this is somebody that kind of like knows how to push your buttons, okay? And I do sense here that, first of all, forgiveness is in order. And secondly, if you're dealing with like a romantic partner, especially like somebody that you have been, in a stable relationship with, that's going to be very difficult. But it's definitely something that you need to do to prevent future falling out, okay? So to show your appreciation for them, but also to show your humility so that when other problems surface in the future, they know that, you're a bigger person and they can approach you. Otherwise, it will create a big rift in the future. Okay, at the same time, I do sense we have a lot of new beginnings happening for you, and we also have the Three of Wands as the outcome in the upright position. This is just, keeping your eye on the prize, okay? So in any type of relationship, and I would say even on the work front, it is very important for you to verbally say, to let people know how you feel. So for example, if there is like one project that that you have your mind set on, tell people, that's what I want, so that they don't take it. Okay, so there's a little bit of like skirting around the issue. So for example, if you're in a work environment which is kind of competitive, kind of cutthroat, I do feel that a lot of people really don't want to show their cards. So they might have their eye on this one thing, and then somebody else unknowingly takes it, and then there's like hostility, there's resentment, and you're just like, maybe they did it to spite me because they know I like it, I want that project. But it's just people really can't read your mind, okay? So say what you mean and leave it up to them to make the right choice, okay? So if they, after hearing the fact that you want that project, if they take it from you, then it just shows that you shouldn't be friends with them in the future. That's all it is, okay? It's a screening out process. So say what you mean. Don't leave words unsaid, because I feel that that's going to bring you trouble down the line, okay? But in general, this is a very, very peaceful, this is a really nice week in which the conflict is stopping, the illusions are dissipating. You have a renewal here. You have the lease on love type of energy. This can be new love. This can also be situations in which there's a revival in love between you and another party, okay, in every aspect of your life. And at the same time, the lovers in the reverse position is, in this context, in general, the lovers in the upright position is, this is the yin and yang energy, is two people who complement each other, who are very different, but they complement each other. In the reverse position, it indicates to me that we are a lot more alike than we think, okay? So overall, very wonderful, very loving week. So, make the most of it, but at the same time, the Mercury in retrograde period is over. So if you have something to say, go ahead and say it, okay? Because the other people need to hear it, especially if their words, if they're positive, like appreciative words that you have to bestow upon another party, okay? That is going to like win you friends, first of all, and compliments will go a long way, actually. It will help boost the other party's self-esteem. It will allow other people to know how and like where they stand with you, and that will allow a lot of good energy, good vibrations to open up for you, okay?